Hey, it's Chris the Toy Guy, and you're watching Delmarva Life.
I want to be that guy when I grow up. I get paid to play with toys.
I know, right?
I want to be that guy.
You'd be good. Well, you raise your children to be independent thinkers, but you also want to give them a solid foundation when it comes to things like politics and religion.
So what happens when you send them off to college? Well, according to a study done by UCLA, almost 44% of freshmen who participated said they attend some kind of religious service frequently. But take a look at what happens to the numbers. The study shows among juniors, the number's just over 25%.
But still, for both freshmen and juniors, almost half say they try to integrate spirituality into their lives. And that's why many college campuses provide students with religious organizations that match their beliefs.
So, joining us this afternoon to talk about that is WBOC's Karen Campbell. Thank you so much for joining us, Karen.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, why did you pick this topic?
Well, many people grow up in church. I grew up in church. But what happens when you graduate high school, you move hundreds, if not thousands of miles away from home. You're in a new environment, you don't know anyone. So how do you keep that spirituality? How do you keep your religion alive? So I remember what it was like my freshman year. So I joined several organizations to help me find myself along with my spirituality and my religion.
So how did these organizations help?
Well, there are countless organizations on the campus of Delaware State University. So, for example, there is a gospel choir, and one of the directors of the choir tells me that many students, if they're going through a rough time, a rough day, just something going on in their lives, through the music, they learn to cope. They learn to adapt. They learn to again, get in touch with their spirituality. There's also other organizations. There's a Muslim student organization. They have a variety of events going on. They invite anyone and everyone to just come out and be a part of that.
Okay, so you based your research at DSU.
I did.
Is there a chapel there?
There is not a chapel on campus. So it makes it difficult if a student, especially a freshman, doesn't have a vehicle, doesn't have transportation. So there is a chaplain on campus who has a Sunday evening service. It's at 5 p.m. and they would have it in their MLK Center, one of their rooms that they designate to invite students out, you know, to still tap into their spirituality.
So is it difficult for students to find support?
No, surprisingly, it is not. And I can tell you all more about that. That's coming up tonight on WBOC News at 10.
Karen, thank you so much for coming in this afternoon. Can't wait to see this. It's going to be Friends in Faith tonight, the WBOC News at 10 on Fox 21.
Thank you, Karen. Well, maybe your kids are several years from even thinking about college. Maybe they're in the toy stage. Still ahead on Delmarva Life, we've got the inside scoop on what's hot in toys this year. The toy guy, Chris Byrne, is not only going to tell us what's hot, he's going to reveal what a toy needs to have to catch your child's imagination.
And a little bit later on, today's chef knows what a meal needs to get your taste buds tingling. We're in the kitchen making shrimp, grits, and corn fritters ahead of the upcoming Mardi Gras celebrations. But first, it is Black History Month, and this week, Delmarva Life is telling the stories of people with roots on Delmarva who've helped impact the course of history.
Here's Brian Spiros with more on Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman is known for her many accomplishments, perhaps her most significant, helping slaves escape to freedom through the Underground Railroad. A native of Dorchester County, Tubman was born into slavery sometime around 1820. She was able to escape captivity on Delmarva, but she would later return to help other slaves make the trip. The Underground Railroad headed along the Choptank River through Delaware and into the north, where freedom waited those who made this journey. Over the course of 12 years, Tubman made 20 trips. It's believed she helped as many as 300 slaves escape. What's even more impressive, she was never caught. She later became a Union nurse and spy behind Confederate lines during the Civil War. Tubman passed away in 1913, but till this day remains a formidable figure in American history. A true example of the stories celebrated during Black History Month.